Hello, welcome to Hitchhiking Stars YouTube channel. Let's talk a little bit about this week. We have a new moon. I want to have a look at this new moon, which is a very hopeful one. And in the meantime, how have you been? What's been going on for you? Did you have a restful week after the eclipses? Did you manage to rest a lot more or not? I definitely noticed a much calmer energy. And I am a little late with my video because I wasn't feeling very great. I was on day one of my cycle 2 days ago, and it's been a very, very intense one for me. So I had to kind of take a little break. So I'm back here to do the astrology of this week, and especially to look at two particular things. So one thing is that we're on the edge. We're really about to enter Sagittarius season. So we've got there Venus, Mercury will be conjoined today in Sagittarius. So Venus and Mercury have already moved into Sag. I spoke a little bit about that in the previous video. And in a couple of days, here we are. So on Tuesday, 22nd, let Sagittarius season begin. So Sagittarius season, we're moving on from these darker waters, looking deep within, exploring taboos, etc. All the things that are very highlighted by the Scorpio season, into let's search for the light, which I think is the idea, the transition between Scorpio and Sagittarius. Sagittarius is about the horizon and, up and beyond. Whereas the Scorpio is like deeper and looking within and being very psychologically aware and honest about patterns, where Sagittarius is sort of ready to make the change, is mutable fire. So we enter into the mutable fire season, and right on the day after, so the 23rd of November, we have the new moon at 1 degree Sagittarius. Now this seems to me to be a very hopeful new moon. For us to set intentions around things that we have very warm hopes around, things that have to do with our growth. So something that I was writing in one of my posts was that the Scorpio season was all about taboos, like I said before, and now it seems, and especially with the kickstart of this new moon after eclipse season, that we're ready to start looking ahead. So if we were looking backwards, we were looking what was going on, what happened in the past. Why do we tend to live in this way? Old patterns rising up and things like that. Well, now is about looking forward. What's to come is a very future-oriented sign. So it is about to look hopeful at what could be, what are the possibilities there in your life? What's the highest possibility that you can think of? Where is the beginning of Sagittarius in your chart? Because that area will have something to do with this new potential beginning. Not only that, but obviously we have a cluster in Sag, which will be really putting that energy very strongly towards this sense of the future is better, the grass is greener somewhere else. We're ready to move forward, we're ready to move on, we're ready to start thinking about the steps ahead. And, yet that Mars is still retrograde, so we're still kind of taking our time with it, but we're beginning to think about our vision boards. We can start thinking about what we want to manifest in the future rather than look into the things that we need to let go of, right? So we can start shifting that sense of awareness. And is also a trine to Jupiter. So Jupiter is at 28 degrees Pisces, so still retrograde, and went back from Aries into Pisces again. And I'm sure I talked about that in one of the videos there. But it's not only a new moon in Sag, but it's also trine. It's ruler. It's trine Jupiter as well. So for me, it's a kind of a double whammy of this can be a great time for growth and setting intentions for anything that has to do with your growth. So it's not only about what's happened, let it go, blah, 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 but what would be the best case scenario for you? How do you want to grow as a person? Do you want to keep studying? Do you want to go back studying? Do you want to publish something? Do you want to share some information with other people? Do you want to go on a retreat and do some spiritual things? And, all of these can be connected. Do you want to travel more? This is a great time to set intentions around traveling as well. have a look at where that is in your chart. And if you have anything in this early degrees of Sag, it could be very personally empowering for you. And is the day that Jupiter is stationing. So Jupiter will be like, going around in its own axis, because it will be moving, shifting direction. And on the day after, the 24th, there we go, it goes from red to black. And that means that Jupiter will be moving forward. So we're ready to move forward with our life philosophies, with our bigger picture of the world, what the world is about, with our capacity for meaning making. It's about making meaning, bringing meaning into our lives as well, seeing where the opportunities are, dreaming bigger, And I think this new moon this week could be all about that. Also, Mars is sort of going retrograde, but forming a trine to Saturn, so it could be very supportive of actions as well around those dreams, around imagining what could be, what we want as well. It's still in orbit with that square with Neptune, so again, spiritual things, spiritual ways, internal ways of finding what's the right direction and the right way of setting intentions, etc. But it's a very hopeful placement. I like it very much, and that's it. I mean, I will be back next week again. I'll be back on Friday rather than on Sunday. But wishing you guys a wonderful new week, very hopeful, and get your pens out, write something nice, create a vision board, draw something that really speaks to you. I'll see you later.